Howdy, and welcome to PowerPoint Chapter 2, Presentation Development. Here we're going to go beyond the basics and we're going to talk a little bit more about the functions and features that allow us to create presentations using other features. And the first one I'm going to show you is how to import a rich text format outline. And so we go to the Insert menu. This is a little bit weird because I don't really see Import an Outline, but it's under the New Slide button, and when I pull it down, I see that I can get all of these, but I can duplicate selected slides, slides from an outline, or I can reuse slides. So I'm going to select slides from an outline. I'm going to go to Downloads because I know that that is where my outline is. I'm going to sort by date modified. It brings the newest stuff up to the top, and I want an RTF file. Alright, I always look for the file name extension to know that I have the right one, but we also have a column over here for type. And even though this has a real similar icon to it, to the Word, it says over here that it's rich text format. It's also the one for Chapter 2, so I know it's the right one. I could click it and hit Enter, or I could just double click it. And there we go. It pops all of those in, and it uses the current template to do so, which is really handy. So I am not crazy about this template, and I'm going to go to the Design tab and I'm going to look at all my themes and choose a different, you're fine. Okay, so let's say that you know that you are going to need 20 slides inserted. Control M inserts a new slide. Control 1, 2, 3. I kind of have to get my cursor, get my focus down there. Control M. All right, I got a whole bunch more slides. Now, they're not exactly the layout that I want, but I got the slides. So I can go up here and I can change the layout. Picture with caption. I can change the layout of the next one to content with caption. And I can change it after I change that. I can also reset. I can add a section into my PowerPoint. So those are all right here in the Slides palette on the Home tab. And now let's look about, so we can create a layout, we can modify it. I can actually delete a placeholder and put something else in there. And I can do Control Z, which is always my friend. And I can go picture, camera roll. I don't have any pictures on this PC. So I'm going to pause this for a second and get a picture. Alright, so I've downloaded some pictures of a bee sting because it was a real interesting sting. I've been stung so many times I don't really care much anymore. But what I would like to do while I'm looking at these is see which one. So I'm going to go with large icons, and there it shows me. So this is what was weird about that sting, is that it caused this blood blister weird thing. Anyway, so there I've inserted a picture. After I insert that picture, just like I can in Word, I can crop it. And there we go. There's my picture, just that simply. So one of the greatest things that I really like about PowerPoint is, just like using templates in Word and in Access, is that we can choose themes, and those themes have been professionally designed. So as you can see, I like this theme. It's nice. And then it gives you a preview as you hover over it. Ooh, that one's pretty. Okay, we're going to go with that. Now I could have right-clicked and put Apply to Selected Slide, but you want to be really careful about doing that. You need to have a reason to change themes in the middle of it, not do it just to demonstrate that you know how to do it, because it's distracting. You want to help people. The thing about these templates and the themes is that they won't bounce people's eyes all over the page as you're giving your presentation. The title's always going to be in the same place. The content's going to be in the same place. Now, in addition to that, we can choose a set of colors to go with that theme. So I like blues and greens, a little more green. Oh, that looks pretty calm. There we go. Okay, so you need to be really careful about design principles, and I believe that the book talks about the rule of sevens, and I always heard it as the 666 rule. No more than 6 text slides in a row, no more than 6 bullets in a row. So no more than 6 bullets on a page and no more than 6 words to a bullet. You will see people giving presentations and they will put up so much content. Now, seriously, that is too much content for one slide. I would like to see something. So Maria Marion, she began growing caterpillars and studying their metamorphosis into butterflies. Wouldn't it be interesting to have just a picture of a couple of stages of metamorphosis and just have that on one slide? Because actually each one of these women made significant contributions to technology. So I would move that into a slide itself, just so that people aren't overwhelmed and they're not thinking about 3 things in these important things. They're focusing on Hypatia of Alexandria, and then on German Abbess Hildegard of Bingen, and then on Maria Sibylla Marian. So do think about the content that you're putting in there, the mode of delivery that you have. You're not supposed to put your entire speech on a slide. It's supposed to be the thing that reminds you what you want to say. And the great thing about the new PowerPoint is that viewpoint that we have when we play it, that it shows us the notes, if there are notes, right there, and will help keep you directed and focused on where you want to go. Alrighty, now we talked about the outline view and how to edit in the outline view in the chapter 1 video. So I don't think that we really need to talk about that. I'm going to hit the escape key and I'm going to go back in here, and then I'm going to find the picture of the finger, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to format picture, and we have a lot of things that we can add to it. All right, so important for your exercises is going to be a little bit of knowledge of what you can do in our format picture dialog box. And we have shadows here. We can add some shadow effects, and I can also change the transparency of it. I can change the distance of the shadow. That's the shadow on the bottom. And now if I had a shadow all the way around or behind, it's helpful to understand exactly what's happening if you go ahead and move these a little bit and change them so that you see what is happening. So there you go, it just moves that angle around. And playing with these things is how you begin to understand what it is that you can do and what it is you do. So another thing that's going to be really helpful for you is this size and position. So this is just the size of it. And lock aspect ratio means that if I change the height of this to 2, it's also going to change the width. And it's going to do that so that it does not distort the picture. So if you want to distort the picture, you're going to have to deselect lock aspect ratio. Now, rotation is interesting. So let's put 15 in there. And there we go. We get a little rotation thing going on. And we got our little shadows. And I can also click on, again, we've got a picture selected, so I've got a whole new menu bar. And I could choose a completely different one with a frame. So all kinds of features. And you have to hover over these momentarily, and then that tooltip will show up. And it also gives you a preview of what it'll look like if you choose. That looks like a cell phone picture. There you go. Anyway, you need to know about all of these. Now, over here, we have picture corrections, sharpen, soften, picture color. So you can change the saturation of it. And that makes it really ugly because it pretty much ups the red. You can change the temperature, and this is also going to change the amount of red that you see. A more hot photo is more red, and a cooler one is more blue tones. And then I can also hit reset if I don't like what I've done to it. Now crop, we can do it here, but I really like the crop tools to do that. So let's go back over here. So glow, soft edges, 3D rotation, artistic effects, and a lot of those are also up here. And then the position is really important, and it's going to ask you in several cases, it'll give you directions that say, 3.5 inches from the center or 2 inches from the center. And you're going to have to look at it and logically ask yourself if you have the result that you want. Because you can put a measurement in here from the top left corner or from the center of the slide. Another thing you need to know about is on the View tab, we have ruler, guideline, grid lines, and guides. So here are our guides, and those guides can actually be moved. So if you wanted to line everything up or several things up according to these guides, you can move them around and you can add more guides. And that's very helpful in positioning things. That way, when you put the precise position in here, you can look at it and logically ask yourself if that worked out for you, if it is really from the center of the page. And then you're going to have to figure out which way is negative and which way is positive, and think about that so you can see it and use your powers of logic to ask yourself whether it's actually in the correct position. So let's look at one more thing. Let's look at the idea of creating a brand new presentation from a template. So I would just go to File, New, and have all these templates. And very nice. I think we use Slice in one. If I'm doing something about technology, I like Mesh or Circuit, and then I can choose the color scheme that I want, and I think I would choose grays. Like that, definitely. Oh, look, more images. And it's showing you how it's going to look with each one of these layouts, which I like that. It changes based upon what your layout is. Nice, nice. Create. You can't go wrong with these. They have been designed by a professional, and it is color, font, size of font, and layout on the page. And the layouts are different for the different templates. So there we go. Really handy, and I know that you're going to enjoy this. Don't get too terribly frustrated, and be sure to apply logic to when it asks you to mathematically position something. Don't try to drag it and guess. Go ahead and use this, and then see where it goes on the page when you change these, because you'll get a preview too. Okay, you'll see where it goes, and then you can put it back, because Control-Z is always your friend. And you can put it back and you can figure out, and then if you wanted to know where it would go if it was -2, well, let's see, -2. There we go. It went off the page. That's where it went. So that's how you figure things out, is by trying them and applying logic to it. So have fun with this and pay special attention, because it really will help you to prepare nice professional presentations, but exercise restraint. That's the hardest thing when you learn all these wonderful things like animations and transitions and photo effects. Make sure everything points to the message of your